This is episode number 7, Senioritis and Interviews. Stick around, you're not going to want to miss it. Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Brandon Evert, and today we're going to be talking about your senior year as a pre-dental student and the interview process. I'm able to reflect on this now. I cannot believe that I'm going to be graduating from Indiana University in 7 days, and then I'm off to dental school. So I'm here to share my wisdom with all of you. So what I really want to talk about is the interview process. And if you do find out you have an interview, first of all, congratulations. That is a huge step toward dental school admission. They just want to bring you in for an interview and just make sure that you're not crazy, pretty much is what it is. And they want to make sure that you have social skills and that you're able to reason through maybe some tough questions that they give you, because that's kind of going to mimic tough conversations with future patients. But one thing to realize is that these interview days are pretty much an all-day ordeal. Your actual interview is going to be only a fraction of the time spent at whatever school you are at. You're going to have to sit through financial aid meetings. You're going to get to meet the dental students, maybe have lunch with them and get to ask them questions. You might have a meeting with the director of admissions of whatever dental school. So there's all these little events that they have. Your interview is just a small fraction of that. Now, when it comes to the actual interview, there are 2 different formats. The 2 formats are a 1-on-1, 2-on-1, 3-on-1, which is just a basic interview style. Or there's a new thing that a lot of schools are doing called MMI, and that stands for multiple mini interview. So it's almost like speed dating. You might have anywhere from 5 to 10 different people that you talk with for maybe 5 minutes a piece, and with each person you will discuss a different topic. So it's really important, if you have these MMI interviews, to really make sure that you just get right down to it, get to the point, and really share your highlights about yourself. You don't want to spend too much time with small talk and then your 5 minutes is over and you never really got to the point of the discussion. And no matter what format you have, just know, and I'm going to calm your nerves a little bit, I would say 95% of my interviews that I went through, they were just a conversation. They just wanted to get to know who you are as a person. They didn't try to grill me too much and give me, really curveball type questions. Although there was one school, which I will talk about in a minute, but just know that most of them are just a conversation. So you're going to get questions like, tell me about yourself. You want to have questions prepared, but you don't want to sound rehearsed when you give these questions or the answers to these questions, okay? So when you get this question, because I can guarantee that you will, what you want to talk about is, where you grew up, where you're from, very briefly. Talk about your undergrad, what you decided to major and or minor in, and kind of talk about the journey to dentistry of why you wanted to become a dentist, although they might kind of ask that question separately if you don't address it. But when this question is asked to you, this is really your chance to really take control of the interview and take control of the conversation. So you can talk about why you chose dentistry, what events led up to your decision, and then you can talk about what you have done to prepare for a career in dentistry. You can talk about your shadowing opportunities, any internships that you've done. In addition to personal questions about yourself, you're also going to get ethical questions. And one of the most common ones, or, here's a good example of a question is, what would you do if you caught a fellow dental student cheating on an exam? So how would you go about that? Well, the first thing that I think admissions panels really like to hear is, number one, to address the student one-on-one. Have a personal conversation with just them. And ask them, why are you cheating? And, kind of understand where they are coming from first. And you can also mention that by them cheating, number one, it's unfair to all the other dental students in the room, but also it's making them no better of a dentist. If they have to rely on cheating to get through dental school, why are they becoming a dentist in the first place? So you can talk about those key points right there. Then what you want to say is, in this personal conversation that you have with them, tell them, they need to confess to what they did. It's not fair to other dental students. And give them a chance to make it right on their own. And if they don't, then you're going to be forced to go to the administration and tell them what they did. And that's a pretty good answer to those kind of questions. So whenever you get an ethical question, always start off by saying that you're going to have a one-on-one conversation with them to try to, number one, understand where they're coming from, and number two, see if you can resolve the issue without getting any other authority involved. But if they don't comply, then you're going to have to go to, the administration or some sort of authority figure. And that's kind of how I would approach those ethical type questions. Now, one question I'll tell you about this that I personally got asked during an MMI interview, and I kid you not, I walk into the room, and here's the question. They asked me, "Why do you think foreign aid is a failing Western philosophy?" And I had no idea. So when it comes to a question that I have no idea about, it's okay to take a couple seconds to take a deep breath and kind of compose yourself and figure out an answer. And luckily, the interviewer asked me what I thought about the foreign aid going on in Puerto Rico. And thank goodness I paid attention to the news. Obviously, Puerto Rico is a U.S. governed state, so technically it was not foreign aid. And the interviewer was really impressed that I knew that, and he said, you're one of the very few people who actually said that during the interview. So moral of the story is, pay attention to your current events so you know what's going on in the world. So if you get a question like that, you're at least somewhat educated on what's going on around you. And number two, if you get asked a question that you have no idea about, and this is what they're testing, is how do you respond to these tough questions? Take a second, compose yourself, and give the best answer that you can come up with. And really, the biggest thing about interviews, just be yourself. Don't be somebody who you are not. That's the best piece of advice I can give you. So some other little details about interviews. You're probably going to be asked about your manual dexterity skills and what you've done to kind of improve them or work on those skills. And some students will get pretty creative with this, and they'll bring in either soap carvings of teeth that they have done or bring in a musical instrument and play that. But one thing, if you can get dental lab experience, bring in a project that you worked on. For me, I actually brought in some zirconia milled crowns that I actually worked on at a dental lab called Pro Smiles in South Dakota when I was on my internship with Dr. Justin Moody. So, again, thank you, Dr. Justin Moody, for, setting that opportunity up. I'm forever grateful for that. And that's pretty much what your first semester of senior year is going to be all about, is your interviews. So don't let senioritis get the best of you. Now, second semester, on the other hand, you can relax a bit. By this time, you're hopefully going to know where you're going to dental school, and you can relax. The only thing that you cannot do is get something less than a C. But just don't get a C. don't get into dental school, get something less than a C, and then they revoke your offer. Don't let that happen. Keep driving for good grades. You got one semester left, and then you have an awesome summer to look forward to before the craziness of dental school starts. And that's pretty much what your senior year is going to look like. You're going to have a stressful first semester, and then a lot more fun second semester after you know what school you're getting into. And if you are looking for additional advice of how to navigate your pre-dental career, what you should be doing, if you want some personalized advice, feel free to send me an email, and I would love to set up a Skype call or a FaceTime call with you, and we can, I can help you out. So feel free to send me an email. I will put my email in the show notes, or you can find it on my Instagram account at BrandonEvertDMD, so you can talk to me there if you would like. So thank you guys so much for listening. The next episode, you guys hear, I will be a college graduate and one step closer to dental school. So I'm very excited about that. Once again, my name is Brandon Evert. I'll see you in the next episode. Signing out.